in the next 5 years, I would like to see myself as one of the biggest female engineers in Ghana, in Africa.
I was really different too. Okay. I didn't even go into schools with the intention of studying geology. I went in there thinking I would do medicine, but I ended up in geology.
Oh, wow.
And not just ending up in geology, excelling and becoming the best female in my department. So,
whoa.
You know, I kind of grew up in that cycle and I used to see it. So I was exposed to it. So oil and gas was nothing, it wasn't unusual to me. I knew what it was. I was used to it. I knew the companies by names, because I used to see the signboards, Schlumberger, Weatherford, Baker Hughes. You know, I see the names all everywhere I go. So it wasn't.
And I say to people that people make the difference. Luckily, like I said, I had a good boss at the time. So even though there was a lady that was cautioning me against being pregnant, there was a man who was like a senior, male boss who was like, "You gotta go, you gotta go."
Yeah, I really always appreciate those men.
Yeah, you're raising the next generation of children. Why not? And I also had other women who were like, who also advised me and said, you don't need to do everything by yourself.
Yeah.
As a young mother, you want to, be the one that teaches them, how to walk, how to crawl. You want to feed them at everything. You want to do everything, and then you also want to excel at your job. You want to excel as a wife, as an employee, and then you suffer burnout. So the advice that I got, which I also give people, is accept help.
I remember quite recently in December when we had to fix someone's inverter, the person said, "Are you sure she can do it?" So you receive comments like that. But I guess one thing that I've told myself is that, there's fewer women in the industry and representation matters. So as someone sees you, they'll be able to know that, women can also do that kind of job.
This business was started by my grandmother. She was a industrious seamstress. And then she made friends, and her friends gave her connections with Texaco at the time, and she started by selling petroleum kerosene in gallons to her fellow market women in the village. So from selling gallons to market women in the village, she accumulated enough money, enough connections in the 1970s as an uneducated, according to our current educational system, uneducated woman to buy her first petroleum tanker.
Whatever you start, if you have the passion, go for it. Nothing can stop you. If you have the passion, don't give up. You just have to go get it.
There's so much more awareness than when I was having my kids. My first son is 18, and the second one is 16. So that's a long time ago. Like you rightly guessed, I was having the kids at the time when I was in Halliburton a bit and in part of my early days in Shell.
I install tanks and dispensers. I have a niche market. My market is mostly road contractors and a few civil engineers. So I install dispensing units, which is the pump, as said. It's the fuel dispenser you see at the filling stations.
I am Jennifer Kwakwa. I am the co-founder and CEO for PE-GhIE Ghana Limited. So as mentioned, today we are going to talk about charcoal, and what we do is we produce charcoal from agro-waste materials, hence making affordable and clean cooking fuel still accessible by our charcoal markets.
Don't be shy. Don't think people will say I'm doing too much. Do too much. Push yourself out there. Attach yourself to the right people.
It's been a tremendous experience. I've taken up all sorts of roles to leadership, even regional roles. I've led a region, and that's actually Europe. It was a bit scary, but at the same time, very challenging because I was the only woman.
Although I'm originally Ghanaian, I was born and bred in Nigeria. In Port Harcourt, to be precise. In Port Harcourt, anybody who knows anything about the oil and gas industry knows Port Harcourt is like one of the core of in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria, right? Nigeria is one of the top 10 producers of oil in the world, right? So I was born in Port Harcourt. So I grew up seeing this. Whenever my dad is taking me to the office, I see all these names, Schlumberger, Shell, Mobil, Total, Adjei, E&I in Nigeria was called Adjei, and so I used to see this. This was like something I started seeing from as young as 3-4 years. So it's kind of etched in my memory.
People would ask me, what am I doing in, like you said, overalls and hard hats and Wellington boots. But for me, the interest and my inspiration towards the energy industry started, I would say it's been multifaceted. One, from the influence of great people that I've had around me.
And you're right, because one of the experiences that I had in Shell was very interesting because I didn't know what the maternity leave benefits were. And I was really afraid to tell anybody I was pregnant.
Oh.
So I walked up to a lady and I said, can you please tell me where to find maternity benefits? I had just started, maybe like a month. And my stomach wasn't quite, yes, my stomach wasn't quite showing there. I think I was about 3 months pregnant and, you know, the stomach was still, and I wore like a big shirt. And she was like, are you pregnant?
Oh, God.
Don't tell me you are pregnant. I said, no, I'm not. And I sucked in my stomach.
Shoved the baby right back.
My poor son, I shoved him back. I'm like, no, I'm not. And then ran away from her office. She was like, it just came.
How
you
can
need to
you
focus on your career. Can you be pregnant?
Like it was a crime, you know?
Do you get what I mean? And of course I was pregnant. And then, you know, after like 6 months, I went on maternity leave. And we talked about it yesterday. I worked until I was 2 weeks to delivery. And then I, you know, came out. I hid a lot.
Oh.
Yes, I used to hide a lot until I was 2 weeks to the time of my due date. Yeah. And then I said, oh, by the way, I'm going on maternity leave. And they were like, you're what? So only a few people knew that I was going on maternity leave. So times have changed.
Yeah.
But indeed, you ask a valid question around how did I manage?
Engineering is not common for women. I actually didn't know that till my 3rd year when I was choosing my courses.
And I was
only black leader.
An only black leader.
I saw that
as a regional manager, and also I was the youngest.
What's your role typically like? What do you do?
So I actually manage the business affairs of PE-GhIE. So, and that would be like potentially making sure from a customer standpoint, right, we're partnering better. We're actually having the same vision. And also from a profitability standpoint, we're also profitable. Driving market growth in the country, but also looking out for talents, developing key talents, driving all the localization initiatives for the country.
First of all, I must say I congratulated myself well in 2019 when I was declared a First Lady in Ghana to have chartered in my profession as a health and safety professional with the Institution of Occupational Safety and Health UK.
That was a good one.
It has brought a lot of young ladies in the industry closer to me. I must say I'm coaching a lot of young women in the industry in this field not to give up. I tell them my daily stories, what I went through back in the mines to the construction and how I entered into the energy sector.